And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Digestif. How are we doing this morning? I am Sam Mushman, as always, comedian sommelier. Robbie Sco, still getting things fixed up. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to rush you. I felt like I just rushed you there.
Did I just step on your toe?
No.
Sorry,
you're
man.
fine. I'm wearing some Lunar Grands. They're like the whole corporate shoe up top, sneaker in the bottom. They are the tuxedo T-shirt of shoes.
I'm becoming a white sneaker guy.
You always been a white sneaker guy. Because the thing is, you were always built to dress like a tech CEO. You know, isn't that the best? Like, it's funny about those. You go to like a nice like Michelin star restaurant, or even just like one of those overpriced like either steakhouse or Italian restaurants, right? And you see two types of people. There's the guy in like the 3-piece suit, right? And then there's the guy that just comes in, sits at the bar by himself, kind of has like the curved baseball cap on, wears it a little bit low. He doesn't want too many people to see his eyes because he's wronged so many people that you don't want to look at his eyes, right? And he's just wearing a hoodie. You know, just wearing a hoodie. That guy has the largest net worth in the restaurant. It's not the guy in the 3-piece suit. The guy in the 3-piece suit probably works, some sort of investment banking, goes into a law firm every day, has to funnel through paperwork. He has deadlines. He has people he needs to appease. And he's probably making, $300 on the low up to like $500,000-$600,000 a year, which is a very nice living. Got the house with the picket fence, 2 kids, wife that resents him. He has everything he needs to be part of American culture, right? But the guy in the hoodie, baby,
Look out.
Worth at least 10 mil, and that's a guppy in the tech world. A 10 mil net worth is a fucking guppy. It's the smallest dick in the room, but he's the biggest dick at that bar, you know? And he's sitting there in the hoodie, forgot to put on deodorant. Who gives a fuck? His company just brought in an extra, $4 million of monthly billing this month, right? Those are the tech giants. I think that's how they're out in public. You have to look for one. It's like finding a 4-leaf clover. You look for one, you're like, okay, it's got everything checked out, you know? And there's no they had so much early success because of the tech boom. The people that were in it early enough, you got these like 22-year-old millionaires, they're so it actually works in their favor because there's such limited ego. They know who they are, and they actually just want to be left alone. Whereas the 3-piece suit guy wants you to talk to him. He wants you to ask him what he does, and he will expand on investment banking for 45 minutes if you let him. That's also some of the subtle differences.
Flaunting, right? Walking around like, don't you want to ask what I do? Look at this. Look at this.
Don't you want my bit? I thought the best scene in what was it called? What's the movie about the serial killer that works on Wall Street? What's the name of that movie? Come on, what am I talking about? God damn it! It's like a classic movie.
Not Wolf of Wall Street.
No, before
serial killer?
that. Yeah, he was a serial killer, but the whole point of the movie was he might have just been a serial killer in his thoughts the whole time. It might not have been. It was like a 80s, 90s movie. I can't.
American Psycho?
Yes. Thank you. So in American Psycho, right? The scene about the business cards. Do you remember the scene about the business cards? They're all in, this is, you're talking late 80s, right? Heyday of corporate America. And all the CEOs are in that kind of club they go to hang out at for 3 hours in the middle of the day. After they were on the phones wronging people for the first couple hours, then they have to wait and see where the stocks go. So they go to the clubhouse. They play some cards, hop in the sauna, snort some coke, and they look at each other's business cards. And I remember the guy from the guy from American Psycho. He was so insecure that his business card didn't match up to the other business cards. Like his wasn't as thick. It didn't have the same font. It didn't have the same material, and he was so in his head about that. He wanted to kill the guy who had a better business card than him in his mind, right? It was a fantastic scene because it breaks down that old school corporate Wall Street toxic male ego, right? Which honestly, obviously, there's always going to be some good old straight men that have toxic masculinity, toxic egos. But the tech industry, I think there's less of it. It's not that same. It's not in your face as much as like, come look at me, please, someone look at me. It's like, no, leave me alone. I'm wearing a Supreme hoodie and I'm wearing a baseball cap.
Yeah, they're not as name droppy. They're not as like status droppy. They kind of just let their actions kind of speak or not.
And those are fun people to hang out with because you need to prove to them that you're worth their time. They're not going to indulge with you. Indulge, it's not a word. They're not going to indulge with you right off the rip. You got to prove to them that you're worthy. And there's something cool about that because a guy like you can prove that to them. And to them, it's not about your net worth. They don't give a shit how much you make. They look at how you're dressed. They see what your skills are. They're like, hey, let's talk about NASA. You know, it's like they'll go there with you.
Yeah, when I was in Miami recently, I overheard this absurd conversation, probably from some like IT bros at this like rooftop bar, like overlooking Miami, and they're just like, yo, listen, I need $5 million isn't gonna cut it. You know, I'm gonna need at least $8 million. And he's like, well, you know, listen, blah, 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 $20 million. Just having this like absurd conversation.
Yeah,
and they're just like going back and forth, but they just look like regular like IT bros, like just basic college shirts, and they're just like 20-somethings just like arguing over millions of dollars. I'm like, that's interesting.
It's crazy because what they're arguing about, though, is so high level compared to the investment banker skanks, as you would call them, is that what they're arguing over, it needs $20 million. This project they're working on, it needs 30. They're trying to do it for 20. So in reality, it's not, there's no ego involved. It's like, no, dude, I think I logistically need $20 million to roll out this app that's going to start to cognitively rectify all of our data and sell it to Russia collectively in one Dropbox file. I need at least 20 million to make that happen. You know, so it's like they're not bullshitting. That's what's interesting about that. I mean, the tech guys are not bullshitters. I mean, I look at like Mark Cuban, how confident he acts. He's like the beginning of it. You know what I mean? How he dresses, how he acts, how he acquired his wealth, how he goes about business, how he conducts himself, all of that, right? And it's like he's not bullshitting. What he says is how he feels. He's going to wear a Steve Nash football, basketball-infused jersey to the home game, sit in the front row because he doesn't give a fuck. Because he knows who he is. He knows what his businesses are. He doesn't have to prove it to anybody.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're dealing with someone that might be upwards of $100 million to billionaire. That's the difference between millionaire and a couple $100,000, couple, you know, 100, 200 million and up to billion. That's the difference, I think.
That's wild.
Yeah, well, it's we're here on a Friday morning. You'll notice there's a little more natural light in the music lab, which I think is nice. I think you should keep the natural light for future episodes.
It's not bad, right?
There's something about a lovely morning where you wake up and you hear a little bit of racket across the hall, right? You got that person you share this duplex with who you've had history with, and it's just a lovely morning, You wake up, the birds are chirping, right?
Sun on the leaves.
She's yelling. She's yelling with her custody lawyer over who's going to get the kid for the next month, and it's just part of your morning coffee. That's what I could see myself living here. I would enjoy a nice morning cup of Joe and just overhear that conversation.
Yeah, it's fun diving into just absurdly long conversations with her out of nowhere because she'll just keep going. She's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun to talk to.
Yeah, and now she I think looks at you as the head of this household now for sure. You've grown into that. You are you brought in a new young cherub, as they say in the religious community, and he is going to come off like he's very under your wing. So she might want to be involved with you again because she sees how you're handling your life. She sees that you're like even though you don't own this place, like this is your setup. This is where you're destined to be. Next to her, sharing a porch. And listening to her drunken fuckery at night. There's something lovely about that,
Yeah, I love it. She gave some nice little threats to Seth on walking in. She's like, "Yo, me and my mom's here. You better not be too loud." He's like, "Yeah, I got you." She's like, "Listen, me and my mom's live here. Better not be too loud."
Yeah. Oh, nice. Setting the stage.
Setting the stage.
Good. He needs that because he'll take that and that will stick with him. He's not going to do anything. Is the bathroom cleaner now?
Oh yeah, I went ham.
Nice.
Did a bunch of cleaning. I even vacuumed this. There's drum carpet here. I've got this whole electric drum kit here. I went in with a vacuum and I was getting a bunch of cat hairs that were left there from Franzizi's stay.
Ooh, yeah. The ghost of Christmas past.
Exactly.
Got to vacuum up the ghost of Christmas past sometimes. Yes. We got to do that. It's okay. It doesn't mean you can't grab a drink with the ghost of Christmas past. It just means that the cat hair's got to go, ladies and gentlemen. That's all that means. So, Robbie needs to do what he needs to do to go on to the next stage in his life. And I'll be honest, the biggest toxic conversation in my marriage over the last 3 months was me cleaning my bathroom. So that's how important that is. It really is. There was like black mold forming on certain faucets. If you let it go, it starts to form and it grows like a little gangly little nutsack, and it's like you gotta wipe that down. You gotta bleach the shit out of that. And it's like, I just think the male brain, it's so easy for us to just like let that go and not realize it's there until you see the little nutsack hanging. And you're like, holy shit. So I gave my bathroom a good deep clean about 2 weeks ago. All with toilet paper. I don't understand how to clean. So like I bleach everything and then I wipe it with toilet paper. Like
that's what I was doing.
Yeah. There's better ways. There's things you can purchase that are meant like in the Swiffer family.
Exactly.
There's a line of product that helps us with that, but I wouldn't even know what to purchase if I went to ShopRite to order cleaning stuff. I wouldn't even know where to start.
Sponge?
Sponge would help. Sponge would help. I had 2 dedicated sponges that I knew I would never be using again after this clean because they're just filthy, absolutely filthy. But it's helped. It's helped my marriage. Just the idea that, we have a 2-bathroom, so she doesn't even use the bathroom. But the idea that the bathroom's in a better place is all she needs to wake up on the right side of the bed.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I did a huge clean bathroom here for. Just keep it clean, but also because I was having the singer who we're having tonight, the wine bar, Pooja, phenomenal Indian singer, and I just wanted to, got to clean it up, got to get it looking fresh.
Yeah.
So I was doing like a deep clean, but I'm excited for that. We're gonna sneak in some little some Hindi numbers.
That's gonna be fun.
We'll do like mashups. So we'll do some English, like the time of only English language.
Yeah. And the good thing about Pooja, and you understand the type of person you're dealing with Pooja, because right off the bat, her family doesn't support her art. I don't have to meet her to know that. It's like
she's got a degree in chemical engineering.
So her family supports that. That's what her family's doubling down on. So any of this, they don't want to know, right? So you got to remember with a person like this, who I'm sure is incredibly talented. I look forward to hearing her. Is she has that eyes wide shut type of structure in her family that she grew up with, where if she comes over here and the bathroom isn't up to par, that part of her is going to come out. It's all of a sudden you're going to forget you were hanging out with a starving artist for 2 hours. That will come right out. The future chemical engineer living in the burbs will come right out. So you just got to make sure your shit's together, because she's, and I'm sure she's lovely, but that's a constant battle with every really funny Indian comic I've ever been friendly with or known, or they either talk about it on stage or they talk to you about it off stage. It's a constant battle. It's a battle with Indian employees in the food and beverage industry. It's just a constant battle that if you don't do the big 3, right? Engineering, in medically, for not like construction engineering, like fuck that noise, like some sort of medical chemical engineering. Actual doctor, lawyer, big 3. Gotta fit one of them. You want to be a therapist? Okay. We'll see you on Christmas and Easter. That's what that is. You don't want to be, you want to pursue an art, you want to pursue a thing. Okay, well, pursue it in silence.
Yeah, exactly. Your one friend, what's her name? Sonia Vai? She's awesome.
Yeah. She I was working with her this weekend.
Oh, nice.
She was lovely. She was very, very good. She does talk about that on and off stage.
Maybe we could sneak her on the pod. I'll buy her some food.
I think she would be happy to do the pod. Yeah, we need to set up a package for
package
her.
Deal.
A package deal where like there's dinner, there's something to do, there's a way for her to get to and from here without ruining her day.
Yeah.
Because she's a badass. She'd be the type that she'll do a day trip that's kind of far and knock it out. Like we did a show together this weekend. It was a little rough. Just because crowd showed up really late. It wasn't a huge crowd, but it was enough of a crowd to enjoy the show. And it's the late show we did together was a little rough, but we went up there and really I kind of call it you rub some dirt in the wounds, you go up there and you just knock it out, right? And she's very much has that muscle in her where she just goes up there, made the most of it, still killed. It's so.
Of course.
She'd be down. We need to get this chain of comedian guests from the city. We need to put together some sort of package, because we are people that are willing to do things for little to no money. There just needs to be incentives.
Yeah. Of
so
course.
If you create an incentive package, that's what we could do, and hopefully one day get to the part where we have a budget. Maybe the way to have a budget, maybe what you do is we meet with the landlord of the music lab. And we ask them how much to buy, how much to purchase, right? And me and you go in on this together, And then what we do is we jack up the rent for your neighbors once we buy the property, and we use the additional income as the Digestif budget, and we take that money and we go toward booking regular guests that will be able to come down here. We'll be able to get them a rent-a-car. We'll figure out how that looks, how that works, or maybe just even like an electric scooter. Like they come down here,
one wheel,
and they can get like a one-wheeler to go get coffee if they need, And now we have a steady stream of guests, especially now that we're doing this pod. I don't know if you've realized, ladies and gentlemen, but by the time this goes up, it's only going to be 7 days after the previous episode. What the fuck does that mean? We're weekly again.
Season 2.
We were monthly for a good half a year. We were monthly. And we were flirting with monthly. We were like kind of like more like 5 weeks. It was bad. But we're weekly again. So this is the kind of stuff that we need to talk about. It's a monthly budget. Do you know, now that we have a change in roommates here, Lucas is no longer living here, but he's still here in our hearts. Have you ever met the landlord? Do you have a rapport with him or her?
Yes. Yeah. So,
what's that like?
Pretty good. Yeah, friendly rapport. They're like kind Jewish couple.
Okay.
Drop off some Christmas gifts. Come over and help out with this, that, and the other thing. So yeah,
okay.
Yeah, definitely met them.
So kind Jewish couple will come over. We'll give you gifts on like the holidays and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So there's not. It's not all evil. There's just some good bones in their body.
Of course. Yeah.
So they would be open to a possible negotiation. If it was approached in a very casual, no strings attached type of way. Now, I think we can get them to sit down and hear us out for a couple of. First and foremost, would you be down to purchase this building with me? Because I kind of would be. I've had so much real estate failures in the last couple of years that I would be down to buy this place with you.
Let's flirt with the idea.
Are you open to flirting with it?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So if we do that, right, we'll put together what that looks like. We got to figure out what they think. Right now, interest rates are just starting to go back up. So I think we give this about 6 months. Let the interest rates go back up to like 3%. Because then what happens is right now with any seller in this godforsaken state of New Jersey, which I love and will never leave, but it's a godforsaken hellhole. Everybody thinks their shit is way better than it is. Everyone's putting stuff on the market 200 to 350,000 higher than what the actual value is. Half the homes that people are purchasing are not appraising for that reason, right? And then all the real estate agents are just sitting there on TikTok going, hey, sometimes you got to fall down 7 times to get back up 8. Shut the fuck up, Betsy. The house is not appraising, right? So what we have to figure out is what is this place realistically worth, and what price would they, in their probable delusion, want for it, right? Those are probably two different numbers. And we also have to understand that this is, like you said, a well-to-do Jewish couple that's very nice on the outside. Well, listen, they're not going to take a bad deal. So we have to just make sure that we're not getting a bad deal. The best we're going to get out of them, they're not going to undersell. Or they're not going to overpay for anything, and they're not going to undersell any of their assets. So we just need to get a fair deal. If we get a fair deal, this is a great piece of property. Got the porch, got parking spots at the front, parking spots in the back. It's right in the heart of where new condos are being put up across the street. Got Main Street right there. This is an asset. This is going to be worth $300,000 to $400,000 at least in 5 years.
Yeah. One other thing that was fun that Lucas initiated when he was here, he's like, we went on to Google and turned it into the Music Lab.
Yes.
So when you put it, it's called the Music Lab.
Reviews.
And there's like reviews on there.
From 2 of my employees giving you reviews, right? Yeah. So that's the next move. We'll talk about that on future episodes, but we need to buy the Music Lab, ladies and gentlemen. I want you guys to DM us on Instagram. Let us know what you think this building's worth so that we can go in with the right number. I'm going to give you some stats. We're in a very up-and-coming town in central New Jersey. We are near a college market, right? A Big Ten college, to be exact. So there's some pull there. Like Robbie said, 3-bedroom, 1 bath, 2 bath?
1 bath.
1 bath. Okay, not great, but we could put in a half bath downstairs. No, there's the opportunity for that. There's space to do that in this downstairs. You have an entire music lab in the living room. You guys already know that. You see it on every episode. What do you think? I would say square footage, 3,000 square feet.
Sure. Yeah.
3,500? 3,500 square feet to be safe. 3,500 square feet, central New Jersey town, 3 bed, 1 bath. What do you think it's worth? Put it in the DMs. We're going to make an offer. And it's okay. What I learned about the real estate industry is it's okay to make an offer if you have no intention of buying it. That's what I learned. Making an offer means nothing. I was taught by my loving parents to go about real estate the right way. You make an offer. It means you're committed. No, it fucking doesn't. Attorney review is a scam. Nothing matters until you have blood signed on that paperwork and until you're physically under contract, until the lawyers have been paid, and until everyone's doing their job efficiently, nothing matters. So we can make an offer.
Sneak a little Tim Dillon energy in there. Just play the field.
Yeah, definitely. A little Tim Dillon energy. Make an offer, play the field. Fake business. Exactly. But this is definitely not that. This would be real business because if we throw a number out there and they accept, I mean, we have to consider it. Yeah. This would be a great investment. It's not just completely for sport. That would be the difference between what he does and what this would be. This is kind of 20% for sport because we know there's about a 90% chance that our initial offer we put in, they're not taking. Yeah. They're coming back with just delusions of grandeur. Right? So we got to be ready for that. But I don't know. You haven't said much since I started talking about this. Are you open to any of this?
Flirting with the idea is fun because, I do like Somerville. I do like where it's going. And I do like the fact that I built this crazy space and having to pack it up
would be heartbreaking.
Yeah,
would be kind of heartbreaking, wouldn't it? And the reality is, I mean, if we went into this together, I can tell you we have enough capital to put a down payment. Obviously, we're not going to be cash buyers. But I think we could be anywhere from FHA to flirt with 20% down buyers. I honestly think we would be close to that if we went in together, right? So with that being said, we'll think on it. We'll come up with a number, and we'll just make an offer. And then we'll probably think on it, and 2 days later go, I don't want to buy it, right? But you still make an offer. Let them know that you're eager because there's something about that where if anything ever changes, you don't know what these people are doing with their life. They might be looking at this is part of their retirement. They're still collecting some rent, and then eventually they're going to sell anyway. But they're not ready to sell right now. They're ready to sell in 3-4 years, and they're just sitting on their laurels, right? And they just want to retire down in Myrtle Beach. That's a good place for, it sounds like, the people that we're talking about to go. Go to the Carolinas where nothing really matters anymore. They're probably 3-4 years away from that, So what you do is you let them know that someone living in their current building is hungry for it now. And that might up their timeline. And then they turn it down next month, let's say. We put an offer in. But then maybe a year from now, they're like, hey, still interested? And they come back with some greasy fucking offer that we break down with a legitimate attorney and we read through the fine print. We're not going to take some greasy offer, but the first one back from them is going to be a little greasy. And then we comb through it with a fine-tooth comb, and then we come back with a logical rebuttal and see where it goes.
Food for thought.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
If we were to actually acquire this place, what would we do with it? Because I mean, if we become homeowners of the Music Lab in this town, there's a lot we could turn this into. I mean, there's things we could do from a musical, artistic standpoint. What could this eventually be?
Well, I think easily turn into audio, video production house, whether that's obviously recording podcasts, voiceover work, music production. So having different artists come through, record songs. Anything audio, video related comes to mind quickly. Eventually, if they have the whole thing, that could lead to even a rehearsal space as well.
Yeah.
As far as bands could rehearse here. If I get this, it pretty much could be that. I'm actually hosting rehearsals here sometimes.
This is an Airbnb experience rental space where we put it on Airbnb for bands to record studio time, bands to rehearse, people to get musical lessons, right? Companies to come in, small companies for musical retreats and rental. We turn this whole space on Airbnb into that. In the meantime, I will pitch for a variance. The variance will be to possibly, because there's about a 99.999% chance that this is zoned completely residential. So we need to pitch for something to make this zone commercial for certain uses. That's what we got to do. And we have to pick uses that we can commercially zone. Like, I think something about this, especially as this street builds out, this is a shop that just needs to be manned with one person a day. And what we get to is once we own the building, and we're getting the mortgage paid from the people that live next door, then we tell Seth, listen, this is the reality. You want to stay here? We are cutting your rent in half. And he's going to be like, what? Yeah, rent's cut in half, just like that, because we love you. And he goes, oh, thank you so much, guys. How could I ever repay you? I go, listen here. Hear thee. We are opening a small artisanal, Jesus Christ. I'm making up words this morning. A small artisanal music and wine shop that sells local produced things, music, equipment, just an artisanal, like, hipster shop. And we put a storefront out, and we need someone to man it 5 days a week. Right there. Need you to man the register. You will not be compensated, but the reality of the situation is you are, because your rent got cut in half.
Boom.
So I just need you there for certain hours. So now we have a storefront. And once the storefront's there's rights as a business that you can do. And those rights start to seep into, like, private events. So now we have an event space. And now we're just, like, putting together a little artisanal $10,000 events. And this place is just popping off because it's right off of Main Street.
I like it. There's even, parking here. We could do some things.
We could do some things.
Mm-hmm.
You know? All right. Well, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I think there's something. Half of this podcast is we just come up with a dumb idea. We talk it out in the podcast. Talk out what it looks like.
Hash it out.
And then we don't execute it.
Yeah, well, I got the number.
Okay.
We got. But back on the entertainment side, I'm definitely excited for that. I feel like there's a number of people doing that, just not performing just English songs, but like mashing in different languages. Like tonight we'll sneak in some Hindi songs. Mm-hmm. And also I have a friend who I used to teach piano. Her name's Evangelia. And she was trying to break out as a pop artist, just doing like pop songs, English, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But she really started blowing up when she like just went deep with her like Greek heritage. Mm-hmm. And she has like sings like part of the verse in English, another part of the verse in Greek, and then uses like traditional Greek instruments. Yeah. And now it's like kind of blowing up, and I think it's kind of cool thing in the entertainment space, not just with that, but also with like Koreans and stuff like that, where it's like some English, some other language, like a cool way to kind of break out in the entertainment scene and like break into different cultures and like reach a wider net.
Well, the reality is it's important that we network with different cultures of musicians, because I mean, like, most of them have their shit together way more than the white community. Like is there a bigger community of bullshit than the white community, right? like if you want if we want consistent artists going to the bar, if you want consistent people coming here to jam out for lessons and stuff like that, where I mean, you tap in, and I mean this is what it is. It's not even, I don't even think this is a stereotype. I think this is just a compliment. This is reactive to a culture that's been instilled for decades and decades. But, you know, the Indian community, the Asian community, like these types of communities, they work fucking hard, and they're parented like motherfuckers, and they're raised the right way, and whatever they want to do, right, they have a plan on how they're going to execute it. Like, yes, we can joke about the Indian families being, like being shameful that their kids want to pursue art and pursue entertainment and not pursue lawyer, doctor, or engineer, right? But that being said, don't get it twisted. They are pursuing those things with the same energy and same intellect that they would have pursued the medical or law field, right? Mm-hmm. So you have that energy, right? And, you know, that's the clientele we need. Mm-hmm. For you to be playing with, for us to be forming our own small hipster indie music shop and event-based business that we just talked out.
Recording,
because they have a plan. You know, like white people don't have a plan because we've had it easy for so long. So we just kind of wake up and like the parenting there's like, yeah, well, you know, you just gotta, you put your best foot forward. You find a good company, you're set for life. And now like everyone's just on TikTok instead, right? But it's like there's no plan. It's a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings because we've never really had too many hard days. There's a lot of emotion, but no plan. So like, you know, it's okay to be emotional if you have a plan. Because then it's like, okay, I'm very emotional because I want this plan to come to fruition. Because I've detailed this out since I was a child. And this is what I want to do. That's cool, right? You can respect that. What you can't respect is like, I have a lot of feelings, and I have, you know, I've tried a lot of things haphazardly, and now I don't really know who I am in my 30s. Like that type of shit is not what you want. And that's
exactly.
That's a lot of white people. So, you know.
Just kind of winging it.
Right? And, you know, there's plenty of things I do where I kind of wing it. I have that in me. I definitely do, you know. So that's the market that you want. I'm excited for tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's the market I've been trying to attract at my bar, too. It's just like multi-diverse, everybody from every ethnicity, every walk of life, every gender, or for everyone that thinks gender is a lie and offensive. That's great, too. All those people love wine, and they can love a good beverage, love a good type of wine, and then they might all love different types of wine. That's the beauty of the wine industry, right? You find something that speaks to them that either identifies with their upbringing or their culture, or identifies with maybe a food group that is part of their culture, right? Because there's a wine in the world that can pair with every sort of food in the world. It just is, with every single thing. Even the hardest wine pairings in the world have something that work, right? So I feel that in the wine community, right? You know, and you know, entertainment has been on that for a while because people are just kind of sick of all white people on TV, you know? So like that's already been changing. So, you know, that's the market you want. I fully support.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's fine. I was talking to her earlier because it's cool. This singer, we have a lot in common, like both interested in music and both went to school for chemical engineering. But it was funny. I just forgot. I forgot how to answer this question. I wonder how you would answer this question. But she asked me, like, so what do you do in your, like, free time when you're not, like, doing music or whatever? I don't even know what to say because I've got this whole, like, accolades of all this shit. I didn't want to, like,
gun.
I didn't want to, like, overwhelm her. So what I said was, it was ridiculous. I was a little tired, a little hungry.
Sure.
I said, wheels, bicycles and skateboards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I went with. Meanwhile, I'm doing all this other stuff, like podcast recording. Like, what would you say if you were like, what does Robbie do when he's not doing, like, music?
Well, with all due respect to what you do, could there have been a worse answer? I mean, good God. You said wheels?
I did.
Do you even ride do you ride like a scooter or a bike around town? Because I never see you on one.
Yeah, occasionally.
You do. Okay, so wheels is technically
that's
true.
It's technically true, but, you know, there's a lot of other things I could have said.
I think your answer is, do you remember the episode we did where we talked about what our side hustle, our retirement passion would be? It was supposed to be like something athletic, and mine was like the washed-up Jewish men's basketball leagues where we're all wearing 2 knee braces, just running around talking shit. That was my little. And then yours was, what was yours was you said something that was perfect.
A hoverboard videographer.
Yes, hoverboard videography was yours. That was yours. And it actually complimented everything you've ever done. So why wouldn't you tell her when you say, what do you do in your free time? You look at her dead in the eye and go, oh, yeah, well, hoverboard videography. And you just, like, kind of shrug your shoulders. Be like, yeah, what do you do? Kind of something similar? Assume it. Assume that there's already a connection. Yeah, you know, a little bit of, you know, like hoverboard videography, you know, town variances during holidays. What do you do? Just... Because you would be the perfect town variance guy. Kind of come in, like we talked about that on the other episode. You come in on your scooter, kind of look around, kind of go with the flow.
Exactly.
You know? Back when you and your Eastern European love, you know, just kind of ride around the town on scooters, just calling the shots of what the zoning requirements are. I was like, that's the perfect thing that Somerville needs. Yeah. Is someone dressed like that to call those shots.
That's too funny.
So I think either of those answers would have been better.
Probably.
You know?
Probably.
You're going to get better and better at understanding how to sell yourself because there's so much value gushing out of your pores. So it's kind of like right now it's kind of gushing like a pre-cum, you know, just kind of splatting people in the face. But eventually you'll get your timing down, and everything that you do, you put that in like a thesis statement, and then you give it a good 15, 20 minutes. And once enough orgasms have been had, you can come like a gentleman. You're not coming like a gentleman right now.
No, yeah, because it's hard to know, like, how to answer based on their needs, right? Someone's asking for something based on their needs. Like, I met this woman in Miami, and she has like a bikini company, and they're looking for like music for LA Fashion Week, a quick turnaround time. It's like, oh yeah, like I'm like a producer, I can work and like turn out some mixes for you guys. Sure. And then we just continued talking, and she heard that I like played in bands. Like, oh wait, you play keyboards in bands? I thought you were a producer. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a producer. I also like keyboard in band. Then we keep talking. I talk about I like do video work. She's like, do you video work? You're full of shit. You don't do anything. I'm like, no, I can do this too. So it's good to like try to be narrow and try to like base off what they need. I can say like, oh yeah, I can provide X, Y, Z. So if I start listing all my accolades, you're like, yeah, you're full of shit.
Yeah, no, it's a loaded gun. So you package it in kind of like you said in that one thesis, and then let them hint to what they actually need. You know, because it could just be burying a body, and you're like, yeah, well, that's kind of covered over here. Back in 2007, I kind of worked on this, and then all of a sudden, you can help them, like just like hide a body, like you can. You know what I mean? But if you list all the stuff that you're proud of first, they might be like, I don't know if this guy can hide a body. You know, like you gotta let them take you there. And then go, yeah, of course I can hide a fucking body. It's just it's similar to geoengineering that we did for the NASA space project when we took feces off of the moon, and then we hid it in a compost. We'll just bring the body there, and then they're like, oh, easy, great. We were concerned that it was going to rot and someone was going to find it. You're like, no, are you kidding me? This is chemical engineering 101. We're going to reproduce the chemicals and rewire the structure. Next thing you know, the body's going to just decompose naturally. That's going to be fine, and they're going to be like, oh, and they're just going to believe you, and then you can charge whatever you want. How much is that? $10,000 if I'm in a good mood, you know. You kind of like you can negotiate that way, you know. And now, not saying that's a piece of business you'll want. It's just a piece of business you could execute, you know. That's all. Anything else that you want to cover from the week?
Doing good. I think I'm trying to just embrace more of the entertainer vibe with the Nick Ryan band. So like I used to just bring a bunch of keyboards and be stationed in my little keyboard station.
Yeah.
But now I'm like just bringing the guitar, being mobile, running back and forth across the stage.
The way you move,
leaning on the other guitar players, like like hopping around, headbanging near the drummer, running around the stage, trying to embrace that Nick Ryan energy a little bit. He's a great like entertaining.
I think the
lead
DJing
singer.
has helped that too. I think you DJing a little bit has kind of brought that out.
It helps. Yeah, it helps bring that out.
I was going to ask you, do you want to do a DJ set at the bar?
Oh yeah,
on a Saturday. I like the idea of like a Saturday night. Like you just don't start till like 9.
That'd be fun,
right?
Let's do it.
I think that would be a good thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a nice, interesting. We'll talk more about it. Me and Lucas. We got like 12 DJ gigs this month. Gonna get nice and dialed in. It'll be fun.
I like that. Well, you can always, as always, Robbie is evolving on the show. We will continue to track that as we go. We are gonna make an offer the next couple weeks. I think I feel pretty confident about that. And then if the offer is accepted, the beautiful thing about the real estate industry is we don't have to do anything. We could just say, we were joking around, and just walk away and say, we'll revisit it in a year.
Just wondering.
But I think it's healthy to just make an offer, to let them, because if you're, it still does something if you're the seller subliminally that like, okay, these two fucks are willing to just throw an offer at me, kind of like slaps your dick on the table a little bit, lets them know you're alive, and it gets their wheels turning, right? So that's something we might do. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, this has been the Digestif. If you want to follow the show, _Digestif for all updates, social media videos. We're going to start posting more highlights in that realm. You can follow us on all of the platforms, right? Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff. YouTube for the video. Mm-hmm. Video is just two of us looking in the camera, but some people feel they want that, and that's important, so you could have it there. And I've been Sam Mushman. As always, follow me on Instagram at Vino_comic. That's Vino_comic. Robbie, where can they find you, hear about you?
Instagram, Robbie Sko, RBBIESKO.
Lovely. Until next time, it's been real. Thank you.